And so, Auntie Zinhle, what would you say is your great unlearning?
My great unlearning, actually, it's based on a story. Maybe it will be better explained through the story. I used to be I'm an IT professional by educationally, right? And of course, I'm a mother and a wife by calling. And then I'm a business woman for trading. Then there once was a transition from being a housewife to be a businesswoman. So my transition from being a housewife to be a businesswoman was a big thing. There's a whole lot of things that I had to unlearn. Simple things like the confidence. Yes. Because if you are a housewife, you stick to your environment. That means you become an introvert somehow without you noticing. You just in your space, it's only about your space. You manage your own space, you do your own thing.
Yes.
But when it comes to being a businesswoman, I need to go out there. I need to look for customers. I need to sell what I need to sell. So I had to unlearn this thing of my own space and going out to sell what I needed to sell at that time. Yeah. It was a big learning. I mean, I had to learn how to take risks in a proper way. Not to say if you're a housewife, there's less of, there's always a risk. There's always a risk. But when it comes to being in a business, it's a different thing. It's a different ball game altogether. Things like your style of management. Yes. When you're in your space, it's only a micromanagement. You tell your children, you don't do that, you do this.
Yes.
You in their case all the time. To an extent that I realized very late that it used to be, when my husband comes back home from work, I'm grumpy, I'm shouting, I'm just not happy, And it's not like I was not happy because of what. I couldn't even tell why am I not happy. But I realized later that I had energy which was wrongly projected. I wanted to make my husband a project. Yet I had to take that energy and take it out to the market, So those were my unlearnings, and it was not as easy, because you unlearn sometimes by bending your own fingers, and then you realize, okay, this is how we got to this. Yeah. Now I need to avoid this because it's how I've been doing things, and I thought things are working. And I thought it's great and good. Yeah. I'm being a good wife. I'm being a good mom. I'm being I'm always available and all that, But through this learning and unlearning that this micromanagement is not what I need on the other world. I will hurt my helpers, my workers. Because I'm always in their case. I'm here. I'm not giving them space to exercise and to explore and to trust. Yeah. And to trust. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're micromanaging, it's like you don't trust people that they have brains. You don't trust them. They can make a good decision. Yes. Why? Because I've been staying with my kids. I had to think for my kids. But now I'm taking this now to my space. And now I had to unlearn that to say, look, this micromanagement of yours, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, not in this new space.
Not in this new space.
Oh, I think it's going to be a juicy conversation. We've already gotten to an amazing start. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I hope you are too. Welcome to the Unlearners podcast.
The Unlearners. Learn, change, relearn.
I think if you take
learn, change, grow.
Hi there, Unlearner. Welcome to this episode of the Unlearners podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to have you joining us. Thank you for taking a slice out of your life to be a part of today's conversation. You are here because you're an unlearner. You're the type of person who wants to challenge their perspectives and always be asking what's next and growing through that, but also holding space for yourself and for other people in their journeys as well. And my guest today is nothing short of that, a person who motivates me, inspires me, who I stalk secretly as well, but not so secretly anymore. And she's none other than my aunt. So I think when you have, and I've never said this to you, Auntie, but when you grow up with role models who give you a beautiful example of what it means to unlearn and to always be coming into yourself, you become a different person. You don't become like someone who's never seen what they want to become. You can go, no, I've got an aunt. She's shown me that this stuff can happen. So the person I'm talking about, so I can introduce you guys to her. The person that I'm talking about is none other than Mrs. Zinhle Mbatha and my aunt, someone I adore and get to call family. Auntie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Only a pleasure. Thanks for having me today.
It's a pleasure. It really, truly is a pleasure. And thank you for your time. You are such a busy individual. You do so much work in the entrepreneurship space over and above being a businesswoman yourself who does fantastic work. So it means so much. So maybe let's take this exciting unlearning journey that you've had right to the beginning. Can you talk us through the version of yourself that was still a housewife, that was still deep in that space, doing what you needed to do, micromanaging the spaces that you were in? Talk us through who you were then.
I used to, okay, this is where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
By birth, I'm the eldest.
Okay, that says a lot.
By birth, I'm the eldest of six, which then naturally puts you in a leadership role that you didn't even ask for, right? And then you grow up having to bring solutions every time. Because when your mom comes to ask, who broke my cup? And you know where the question is going. It's coming direct to you. And you need to know who broke the cup. You know what I'm saying? So that leadership thing, I grew up with it.
Yeah.
At first, you say it's a good thing. But later on in my life, it caught up with me when I began to build my own family. Okay, I used to work before.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a period of having to be at home,
Okay.
Looking after my kids and all that. Because I got all three of them. Like there's just a little gap in between. So I always had triplets.
Yes.
So obviously it was in me to say, no, I need to be there for them. I need to make sure I don't miss any step of their growth, So I decided, okay, my husband can take good care of us.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can pull out from the work market.
Yes.
Let me stay at home. So I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But during that journey or during that chapter of my life, I realized that there are some traits that are growing up in me, traits of micromanaging. Because I feel like I need to have all answers, actually based from the previous chapter of my life, because I used to provide solutions and now it's like it's continuing, So I will micromanage even the helper in the house and check why is that not done perfectly? Why is it not done now? Why is it all those things? And I thought it's perfect. I thought it's perfect. Even the thing of not being social or healthy, be involved in a healthy social situations or environments, I didn't notice that I'm stuck. I thought everything is going okay.
Yeah,
You know,
it's fine.
I'm being a good mom. I'm being a good wife. I'm always available. I'm always here.
Mhm.
You know, until this time, I decided to. I mean, kids we grown up, and I thought, no, now I can go back to the market world and see, you know. Though I didn't go back to the secular corporate,
Okay.
I decided no, so that I can be flexible.
Yeah.
Let me go entrepreneurship route, right?
Yeah.
When I got there, to my surprise, that all these other things which I always thought they make me a good person.
Yes.
You know, because I'm pedantic, maybe I'm strict on certain things and all that. I realized that no, you know, so I had to begin to realize them, because that was the first thing. I think before you unlearn, you need to realize something.
Yeah.
You can't just unlearn, because I don't think it's natural that you want to fix something that is not broken. You need to realize that, okay, something is just not happening here. You know, you realize it and then you fix it by unlearning. That's my understanding, right? So things like self-confidence. You know, when you're sitting in your small space, you think you're confident because you're just the queen in your house, in your four walls. But you go out there and meet other queens.
See how confident you are.
It's a big test.
Yes.
A big test. Trust me. You know, when you go there, you meet these women, they well spoken, they can articulate themselves and you know, and they're like, oh, I thought I have it. Clearly no. You know. So those were things. I mean, another funny example. On my early days in business, I used to, you know, when I make an example, maybe I'll have 3 meetings that are set up for me. When I go to the first one and maybe I get rejected, I'll have to cancel the other 2. I'll have to go home and sleep and just forget.
Yeah, and recover.
You know what I'm saying? And I used to do that until such time I realized, no, man, this is not going to grow my business. I doubt if every business person out there cancels all other meetings after first rejection.
Yes.
So I had to unlearn this wrong thing, you know, to say, no. If you get a no there, you go and knock on the other door until you come back with something. Because I wouldn't have made it in business if I didn't learn that or relearn the thick skin philosophy to say, okay, she said no, and it was behind closed doors. If I close that door on my way out, nobody else will ever know that I was rejected. Then I put on my garment and knock on the next door.
Yeah.
You know, so it's those things that I had to unlearn from being a housewife to be a proper business person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this has been my journey.
Oh, I love it. And you've almost helped me to see just how you kind of have to take on a new identity. You kind of have to open yourself up to saying, who do I need to be in this space? But not necessarily who do I need to be as in, do I need to be someone different? Do I need to fake it? But what's the version of me that needs to become in this space?
In the space.
Does it mean that I need to sharpen up a certain skill? Does it mean that I have to show up in a certain way? But also, and this is what I'd like to hear from you, is maybe what versions of myself or what characteristics that I have that I love about myself can I still bring into the space? Because sometimes it's not everything that needs to get left behind or forgotten or let go of. Other things do tend to come with us as well. Is there any key characteristics that you would say in making that big transition and in the unlearning process, these things, I kept them?
there are things, you're absolutely right. There are things that you feel, no, this I don't need to change, but I can only enhance it or make it or tailor make it now for this new space. Things like time management. That's one characteristics I will say I had to carry it over from my housewifehood to the business world, because I had to manage about 4 people in the house, so everyone has got his and her time. So I had to make sure that so and so gets bath at this time, so that the other one gets enough time. The other one, if the other one is late, then it's a ripple effect. So that's one other characteristic that I will say I had to carry over to the other side. There are many other, but I loved mostly on this one. To say, the time management, because you become an executive in the house. So you allocate, you take this, you put it there, it's not working, and you delegate and all that, So there is that part of management that I would say it helped that I started on a smaller scale. Then I was able to reshape it to this new space of mine. Obviously, there are others which are still stuck with me. That motherly thing that's
still there.
Oh my God, it's worse. It's one thing in my office they'll say, but why? See the mother in you now. The mother in you. we won't get this one because so you do get those, but it's all it doesn't all have to go to the bin. You need to be opened up about it. As I was saying, to learn for me that in my old life, which is housewifehood, I will be pedantic to say, how do you make my tea? I'm making that as an example. If you make my tea, you'll wash the cup, you boil the water, you put sugar, you put tea bag, you put milk, you put water, right? That is how it goes. But now I've learned that, you know what? I need to be satisfied on a hot coffee. It shouldn't matter much that you started with water or milk. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear
so
you.
to learn and unlearn that, it's not just easy because you are from this normal and you're jumping to a new normal and the old normal becomes abnormal. Just that as a human being, it's not always a easy thing, but that's how I explain my journey to say I used to like coffee done a certain way, but now I've come to terms that I need to be satisfied with the final product. As long as it's a hot coffee with a cookie, then I'm fine. How you did it there in the kitchen, your business. It's all fun. The journey has humbled me in a manner that you used a beautiful word, flexible. You know, you learn to be even more flexible, learning to be even more understanding. You know, when I ask of something from someone else,
Yes.
I don't just come as myself, but I try to get into your shoes just a bit. Obviously, I'm not going to fit. It's your shoes, but I try. Even if there's an outcome, I look at the outcome,
Yes.
but I don't just end there. I do try and check, how did you get here? Is it something that you can fix? Is it something beyond repairs? You know what I'm saying? Other than me judging you on the results, maybe let me take it a step back a bit to say, were you okay when we were doing this? You know, more especially because in our days, the way the world is turning around, I always say it is not as slow as we used to learn it in geography. It feels like it's the speed has gone a little bit higher. The way things,
They've turned it up a little.
yeah, you know, the way things happen.
Yes.
You know, so it for me, even the concept of emotional intelligence, for me, it's a big thing. Because if I were to sit here with you, it's not about what we're trying to achieve today, but it's about how did you wake up this morning? Because that is going to determine our day.
Yes.
You know, now that we spend 8 hours together, we might as well just know each other a little bit more than what we think has brought us together here. So I've become that kind of a person. I mean, your mom will tell you, I used to be like rough and tough and all that. As I mentioned before, my birth it brought me there. I didn't ask for it. But as I grow up in the business space, or maybe even aging, I don't know. But I'm learning, and I'm beginning to be like that. To say, you know what, there's more than this work we're doing here. You know, I need to check. Were you well fed? Is your child okay? When did you last check your mom? You know, I love Andrew Moy. She was the CEO of Pepsi. Her line, I'll say her line, yeah, right. It's how she used to be a great CEO. You know why? Because she decided this one day that I'm not going to write a letter to my employees, but I'll write the letter to their moms.
Yeah.
You know, and it's peculiar. It's beautiful, you know, because for me, it tells me that, no, don't be just excited that Zanele is here and she's delivering. Just be concerned, just a little. I mean, cover everything, but just a little. How was your last night? Are you good? Are you okay? Is there anything that you think we can talk about? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've become.
Yes.
I know people who know me, they're like, oh, okay. I'm not proud of it. But look, that's how we learn and unlearn, I believe.
It is. And it's the journey of being able to hold space for yourself and to invite other people to do the same. Because sadly, we're still encouraging that idea to say, guys, I'm not the person I used to be. And that's okay, because you're also not the same, and you're not the same, and we're all changing.
Exactly.
So how do we extend that grace to each other is so important.
It is important.
And I'm definitely getting that idea from what you're sharing, and your entire journey has just been, I'm changing, and I'm excited about it. Anything you're looking forward to, maybe let's just one quick minute, anything that you're looking forward to as you continue your journey of unlearning. I know you do a lot of work with entrepreneurs, and I mean, you're basically an influencer in the space, but any key things that you're looking forward to growing in or unlearning in the future?
Currently, maybe just to put it in context, Currently, we are busy trying to formulate a network,
Sure.
calling it the Evolution Club. What we're trying to do there, it's to address topics amongst entrepreneurs, topics which are not so popular. Topics like your emotional intelligence, topics like the new term 4IR and all that, because we are learning that, as I said, the world is no more moving slow as we used to be told. It's moving even faster, So it is, some of these things are based on my personal experience, right? During riots, just to cut it short, during riots, you'll remember we were affected. We were affected badly. All our garages were burnt down, and yeah, it is dramatic. Now to survive the mental, whatever possible thing that could have happened. We don't know till today how did we survive, but we realize that many other entrepreneurs that were affected, they didn't survive back. Because when you come to think about it, that little business, which was just keeping you afloat, overnight it's closed. And it's not going to be up the other morning. So what happens? What happens to your mental state? And as entrepreneurs, we need to come together and talk about these things, to say, look, these matters, they do matter, whether we want to talk about it or whether we don't, So we are opening that space. We are trying to make sure that we impact as much as we can, and reach out as much as we can, and just bring close to home. For example, you may be in your business, but you don't realize that you need coaching.
Sure.
But because you're in a spin, you want profit, but you don't know how to penetrate something else. It's not easy for you to see, okay, I think now I need to slow down. I need some coaching. Now we're trying to bring all those things here to say, look, maybe you need some coaching, maybe you need this, maybe you need, just to make it a one-shop stop kind of thing for entrepreneurs, So that's my drive this day.
Oh, I love it. And I think that there's going to be so much growth in that process, because you're going to learn about the entrepreneurial landscape a little bit more, but you're also going to learn about yourself, your ability to lead. There's going to be beautiful self-awareness there.
I'm excited.
Annoyances.
Very excited.
So I'm really happy that you seem to be taking your unlearning journey with just so much humility, but also with an excitement that you can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Let's see what's going to burn down next and what's not going to work.
That's life. That's life.
I just love it. It's so exciting. Thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. This special gift over here is for you, to say thank you.
Oh, sweet.
And to appreciate you for the work that you do, the person that you are. When we were offline, I shared a story with you about how I was asked by one of the major banks to do some work with them, only to find out that the case study that they shared with me, that was actually an example saying, Zanele, this is the kind of thing we want you to talk about. It was actually something that yourself and your husband were involved in, that I thought was so beautiful, because the world is so small that you think you're just doing your work, you got your head down, and then it touches so many people. So thank you so much, Auntie Zinhle, for being a guest on the podcast.
Thanks, my baby. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, okay, guys. I hope this was as good for you as it was for me. It's been an absolutely amazing conversation about really challenging some of those ideas that we hold personally about what it means to be in a certain space. But one thing that I really got from today's conversation was just how valuable self-awareness can be, and taking stock and then challenging yourself to say, okay, what are the skills that I need to bring in? What are the characteristics that I need to embody for this new space of where I'm going? Oh, absolutely, absolutely good stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this episode of the Unlearners podcast. It's been myself, Zanele Mbatha, the Unlearning Lady, and I can't wait to see you back on the next episode of the podcast. Bye for now.
The Unlearners. Learn, change, grow.
Learn. I think if you take one courageous step at a time, it's going to make such a change. The unlearn.
Learn,